So my name is Scott Talley. We're coming to you from the worldwide headquarters of Network in Action. Really excited right now because we're here with not only a member of Network in Action, but also a good friend of mine and my service provider, Zameer Fazal of Uptown Automotive. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
We're glad you're here. So we're going to talk a little bit about automotive repair, but before we do that, I know that you are a product of one fine high school here in Houston, Texas. Where'd you go to high school?
Absolutely, man of St. Thomas High School.
And pride of the Bazillion Fathers. And when you graduated from St. Thomas, you headed off to where?
Went to U of H, stayed here, went to the Bauer Business School.
Awesome. And then you got an inspiration to get into entrepreneurship right away, or did you?
Right away, actually, while I was still in college.
Wow.
Got into business with my dad, and then found out more of a passionate way of doing things, and then I transitioned into the automotive repair side.
Awesome. So on a serious note, Zameer has been repairing my cars for the last 2 or 3 years, and so I've got to know him very well and what a quality company he has. So talk to us a little bit about when a consumer is looking to choose a repair shop. What should they look for?
So I'm in the hardest business when it comes to anything repair related. Mechanics, body shops, we all have a really bad name. The biggest thing that people look out for are reviews and our warranty. If you look at us on every platform, Google, Facebook, Yelp, we've got 5 stars across the board.
It's nice to have relatives getting their car fixed, isn't it?
We have relative reviews, but we've got tons of real customers, and we encourage our customers to even reach out. We've actually had customers reach out to other customers on Facebook. Hey, you left this review. Is it a legit review? They get good feedback from our customers, so reviews are huge for us. And then a warranty. Mechanically, we stand behind our work with the 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty. On our paint and body side, we have a lifetime warranty on our paint work. So if there's anything that doesn't look right, no matter how long you own that car, we'll get it taken care of for you.
And so you guys do paint and body as well as auto repair.
Exactly.
What percent of shops would you say fall into that classification, or do most people sort of separate it out?
Most people separate it out because it's kind of hard to do both. All the big boys, Caliber, Service King, they only focus on paint and body, but then they subcontract with guys like me to do their mechanical work. Okay. We do both because we like to have everything in one place. It makes it easier. It makes the repair faster. People complain, oh, my car's been in the body shop for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month. Well, when the body shop is doing the paint and body work and they're sending the mechanical work out, there's that delay. When we have everything in-house at one place, it makes it so much more quicker.
Right. And so give me a couple of things besides the reviews and the warranty. What other type of things should a consumer look for when they're picking a shop?
Definitely look at the training that the shop owners and the technicians have. I've seen places that have good reviews, but when it comes down to fixing the root of a problem, they just can't because they don't have the training to do so. One thing that sets us apart is that we're big on continuing education. We're big on training. I pay for the training for all of my staff. Just because you know what you know and you don't know what you don't. So if they don't know how to repair the car the right way or diagnose something the right way, they're just not going to do it. So training and certification is huge as well.
So talking about diagnosing, I'm imagining that nowadays that's just become a nightmare. These really are technology platforms and not automobiles, it seems like. So what's changed since you started repairing cars in terms of technology?
So technology literally changes every day. And what we had 5 months ago to what we have now, things have already changed. All the cars nowadays, doesn't matter whether it's a fancy luxury Mercedes or it's a Honda, they have these advanced safety systems, blind spot monitor, automotive or adaptive braking, and cruise control that's automated. So all these components are all electrical components that need to be properly tested and diagnosed. What people don't realize is when you get into an accident, those things have to be recalibrated. They have to be relearned. And the only way to do that is with a original scan tool specific for that car. So these are more computers than they are cars, just like you said. So it makes it super difficult if you don't have the technology to do so.
And so it's incumbent on the dealership like you to have that equipment.
Exactly. And that's what's putting a lot of people out of business. They're not willing to invest into the technology to keep going. They're just selling out, or they're closing their shop and retiring. But, like I said, I'm big on continuing education and training. Actually, just this past week, I invested in another diagnostic tool that can do all the coding and programming specifically for European vehicles. So it's a very, very expensive tool with annual updates. So it's a big investment, but we need to have that.
Wow. And a typical customer, if they come in for a repair, I want to talk a little bit about the insurance companies. I've recently had a small collision, and the insurance company was trying to force me towards one repair shop. Talk to me about the law and what.
So that's a big thing, and insurance companies will always steer the customer to their own. They say in-network, or they're not on our list, or they'll use tons of terms. But in the state of Texas, you as the consumer, the customer, can take your car anywhere to be repaired, and they have to pay that shop to do the repair. They try to steer you to their shop because they get a back-end discount, or they can control the repair, and they say, oh, well, instead of replacing this, why don't you just fix this? And because they're paying for it, they want to do it the cheapest possible way.
Sure. Now,
the cheapest possible way is not the best way or even the right way. So that's why they're kind of like, oh, no, go to our shop. We'll make sure it gets taken care of. And they'll push you and say, oh, no, well, you won't get this warranty or you won't get that. But, we stand behind our work, and we put everything in writing. So that makes the customer feel more comfortable. But also, if they know me, they want to bring their car to me rather than go to whatever shop is in network or on their list.
Yeah, it almost made me feel like I'd do anything to stay away from their in-network shops. They were trying so hard to steer me there.
Exactly.
Like, if I want a discount repair shop, I'll go find one on my own, right? So tell me a little bit about, so a person brings the car in, you all assess the situation, you dig in, you start taking parts off. What happens after that? I'm always curious. I'm not a very mechanical guy.
No, that's a very good question. A lot of people tend to ask because they want to know the process. So what happens is when you get into an accident, you find the right shop, you take it on over there. We do a preliminary estimate. So even the insurance will do the same thing. They'll basically write on their estimate what they can see. And people are always like, oh man, this estimate's so low, it's got to be more than that. Well, what happens is they call it a supplement. So once it goes to the shop, we tear down the car, we find all the other damaged parts that were unseen to the eye, and we perform a supplement to the insurance. 10 times out of 10, whatever's damaged, they will pay for it. Never will they say, oh no, don't fix it or don't replace it. They may steer you to use a used part or a new part or an aftermarket part, depending on your policy. But after we tear down everything, we see any additional damages, we order the parts, get everything going and repaired, replaced in the paint booth, back to reassembly, and then final quality control.
Yeah, how has paint changed over the years since you've been in business?
Paint has changed, and nowadays companies, manufacturers are making crazy colors. Porsche most recently has a color called Chroma Flare. Just that one paint job is about $200,000.
Wow.
Lexus has a color called Structural Blue. They limit it to, I think, 800 or 1,000 cars a year because they can't make that pigment fast enough, and it's way too expensive to make. People always ask, well, paint, will it match? Will it be the same? We run into it all the time, and we've got such great technology within our shop and our paint system. We use a new paint line called PPG EnviroBase. So it is a water-based paint. It is more environmentally friendly than anything previous. Everybody's like, oh, well, if it's water, will it dry? Will the color be the same? And the color match on water is so much more precise than on the older solvent material. So it's come a long way, and with our tools, just with what we have at our shop, we can mix 46,300 something colors of paint that are on the road today.
Wow, and that's usually determined by some kind of monitor or computer? Or?
Exactly. So our monitor is actually connected to the PPG network, and PPG, they're the actual paint provider for a lot of manufacturers. So every car has an individual color code, which is on the VIN sticker of the car, and that color registers in our system. And some colors have 4 shades or 5 shades or even 10 shades of that same color. So we have chips of everything. We make spray out cards to make sure we have the right color. So it's not just, hey, this is the color, let's mix it up and get it going. It's a process in and of itself.
Yeah. So I'm familiar. Again, I mentioned that I'm a customer of Zameer's, and I've told him on more than one occasion that I'm glad I'm in the business I'm in, and he's in the business he's in. I had an occasion where he had repaired a air shock on my car, and I had to end up taking it back, and the manufacturer did not want to warrant it. And I have to give Zameer credit and thank him here. He stood behind his brand and took care of me. He didn't want to tell me I was going to have to drop another $1,400 in that car, and yet he really couldn't prove to the company that it was their fault. So if you want an honorable guy, you're certainly looking at one here. Tell me lastly, like, what have you learned about the business? If you were talking to one of those students back at the University of Houston Bauer School that was looking to get into the repair business, what would you say? What would be a couple of lessons you'd give them?
Do it if you have a passion for it. I mean, in any business, you're going to deal with people that are frustrated or upset. But if you don't enjoy what you're going to do, don't even waste your time doing it. I love cars. I grew up with the little Matchbox cars and model cars, and I probably have a collection of the 1/18 scale cars, probably about 300 cars. I've always loved cars, and I worked with my dad in the family business for a while, and it was very profitable, but it just wasn't what I enjoyed to do. So if I tell anybody looking at not just my business, but any business that you're going to go into, do it because you love it, not because you're there to make the money. Obviously, we're here. We're all business owners to make money, but you have to still enjoy what you do.
Right. So on that note, you've recently moved. You've upgraded your facilities. Have a little larger facility. You must be doing something right. Tell us how you market your company. And I know you do a little networking. You've been with Network in Action for 3 years now. What else are you doing?
Been with Network in Action for 3 years, and it's been an amazing opportunity to not just meet people, but to actually like these people. You meet tons of people all the time, but to like people and to trust people, you don't really develop that unless you go to a networking event or if you're not part of Network in Action. And I'm fortunate to say, if I have not crossed 100,000 while I've been a member, I'm pretty close to it.
That's awesome. That's pretty good return on the $1,495 investment. Well, we're really happy you came in today, Zameer. It's great to see you. Keep up the good work. And
thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's good stuff, guys.